Hey everybody, Richard Seller here. Somber week down here in South Florida. We're coming off of the heels of the recent shooting at Stoneman. And it obviously raises a lot of issues in the workplace, but also, obviously the clear and candid responses. Everybody shook from, kids. My kids don't go to school there, but obviously 2 degrees of separation. They know kids who perished. So needless to say, it's been sad and tough, but it does raise some interesting issues about safety in the workplace, which I think is important, and that fine line between raising something in the workplace and discrimination against people who are more suspect, I guess, based on observation than others. We deal with this issue a lot, especially with folks of Middle Eastern descent, where, there are, in times like this, there are heightened, everybody's sense of security is heightened in the workplace. So it goes back to my famous expression of, see something, say something. And we start to see an uptick of complaints in the workplace where, a particularly quiet employee, now there are complaints being raised against this employee because he's acting peculiar and, he has a backpack, so does he have a weapon in that backpack? So you see an uptick in complaints and concerns raised to management about what I'll call suspicious behavior that if we lived in a normal world might not otherwise be suspicious, but just somebody's characteristic that they're quiet or not particularly outgoing. Part of the issues that we are seeing in the workplace is, for example, I call it workplace lynching, workplace mob mentality, where you get the employees, for example, who are of Middle Eastern descent, like I had mentioned, and there's complaints that, I think this guy's a terrorist, and he could bomb the whole workplace, or he could be a shooter. And it borders on a really fine line between discrimination, because you're taking a perception that because somebody belongs to a particular ethnic or religious group, that they're somehow more likely to be a terrorist, God forbid, a workplace shooter or something else of the like. So, obviously the common sense rule is going to apply here, and it's going to be what I always say, look, if you're feeling uncomfortable, if something is happening in the workplace that makes you feel a little bit, I guess, uncomfortable or unsafe, I'd rather you say something than not, okay? However, if there's a mob mentality and the complaints seem to be continuously against one group of employees that are being singled out, it could border on the verge of discrimination. You could actually ultimately be fired by your employer if it turns out that your complaints are not well-founded. So, what's the lesson to take away from this? Obviously, if you see something that's really suspicious, you should absolutely go to human resources. But if you don't see something suspicious and you're just assuming or making stereotypical assumptions about somebody based on the color of their skin, or that they're a computer guy and nerdy, you potentially walk into the quagmire of being accused of discrimination or inappropriate conduct. There's no black and white answer anymore, but it is something that's serious. Workplace safety is certainly important. I know, for example, at our firm, we make sure that we have a locked door and that we have a camera in the front. I will close this session with a bit of a scary story, just to bring sort of everything back together. This past Friday, I got a call from a detective. And he identified himself and said, I need to discuss something with you. And the detective had indicated to me that a individual who had approached our firm about a month or so ago, whose case we couldn't take, he became more and more aggressive during the call when I advised him I couldn't take it, had notified the police that he was planning on killing me. Not a great way to start your Friday. The police had indicated that they had Baker acted this individual, and you know, they advise me as to what they propose I do regarding criminal charges and the like. You know, it's a scary world that we're living in right now, folks, and obviously, you know, we're going to take every precaution we can in the workplace, and my employees have a right to insist that their workplace is safe, and we explained what was going on to them. So at the end of the day, your safety, the safety of your family comes first. So when in doubt, if you have a reasonable belief that something is going on in the workplace that may endanger you or your coworkers, you should absolutely report it. Just make sure that you're not engaging in mass hysteria or mass panic and it's targeting one specific group over another. So a little bit of a somber message today. Obviously, prayers to the victims and their families. And, you know, we followed up on our end here with a death threat in our office, which is always scary and terrible. But there's brighter days ahead for all of us. So let's keep the faith. Let's remember how blessed we are to be alive, that we have jobs, that we're here and we can provide for our families. And I wish everybody a great week, and I'll be in touch soon with another video. Have a great day.